Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Hey guys, welcome to Creatives to Creatives today. Today we have a special guest, a really good friend of mine, amazing woman.
Del Harrison.
Woohoo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you.
I am so jealous you got this coffee too, because I was gonna have my coffee and I was like, no. Normally I will hold up the progress because I'll be like, I have to have that coffee. Now, this is the first day I was like, don't keep her waiting, because I already had to like keep you waiting because I went in the backyard to walk the dogs. Okay. And somebody else's dog was back there. And I was just like, but like, because we will just let each other like have the backyard, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I go back there. Yeah. So I already had to wait. And I was like, I just can't do it. I'm going to just stick with my water. But like, whenever I chit-chat it up, I need my coffee.
I feel you. Take
an extra sip for me.
I will. I got you. I got to have coffee. It's morning over there. How you doing? How's it? It is
way
going?
Morning. Everything is good. How about you?
Fantastic. Enjoying this cold weather where I'm at right now. But
y'all got cold?
It's cold here in Florida. It's cold right now. It's freezing. Yeah. I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
Like now freezing by Florida standards, or we talking about regular East Coast? What's the temperature?
It's 40 degrees right now. It's pretty cold.
Oh, okay.
A little cold for me.
After your next sip of coffee, slap yourself, okay? For all the East Coasters who might be listening to this.
Right. East Coast in the house. So no, I did. So I looked at your bio. First of all, you have an amazing resume. You are doing the thing. Like, I'm like, you know what, girl, you are killing it out here. And you're from New Orleans. Is that originally from New Orleans?
Yeah.
So when did okay, I'm just trying to picture that because I've never been there. I want to go one day. How is that growing up and figuring that out? And did you like knowing that all this that you had inside of you? Like, when did you discover all this, or had growing up? Or
yeah, well, my mama and my grandma and them discovered it. And they used to be putting me in all type of stuff, because I was the first grandchild. So if I wasn't having, piano lessons with my auntie, trying to teach me piano, but of course, I couldn't sit still long enough. But, somebody was always doing something, signing me up for some kind of drama, something, the pep squad, the cheerleading, something to keep, this only child busy, And I come from a family of actually singers too,
Wow.
So they, somebody's always singing around the house. Has a choir rehearsal. Somebody is, harmonizing in front of the mirror because they, signed up for something at school. So, those were my mother's brothers and sisters. And, the ones who were left in the house with me, because I'm only 3 years younger than my mother's youngest sister, my mother kind of like raised them,
Oh, nice.
But anyway, it started there. And then I moved to DC when I was 15.
Wow.
And it continued because I remember when I was signing up for school, I wasn't even going to sign up for anything. My mother was enrolling me in school. Yeah. I wasn't even going to sign up for anything artistic. And my mother was like, sign up for choir. I mean, you like to singing all day around the house, like sign up for that, And I signed up, and then that lady was just like way invested in all the children in the class,
Nice.
So and then it just, because I basically grew up from 15 to 30 in DC.
Wow.
So my friends would not like because I was the kind of person that was like in my shell until I met someone who I felt comfortable with, and then I would be way out of my shell,
Right.
and that is what, like, because that's what my mother would see all the time. She was the person I could make laugh the most because I was my most honest self with her. Like, I didn't have any, the comfort was there. And then as I grew older, my friends, I used to be, first of all my friends are funny. We're all funny as people. You know what I'm saying? Because when we get to know each other, we're our ourselves. And our honesty comes through funny. But anyway, my friends, everywhere I went, they was like, no, we're going to get you on stage. No, we're going to, we got to do it. And then they dragged me, they forced me onto this open mic one day. And from the rest, the rest of history.
So wait, how old was you? How old were you when
I was 29 when I first started stand up? Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And thank God, because you're a baby when you start your creative life. You spend all these years becoming an adult, and then when you start this new thing, you're a baby all over again. So I'm glad I had that chance to like live, because then I had things I felt and could talk about, and so
I
many.
love that.
Yeah.
Were you like, I'm sure you were like mad nervous, but what did it feel like, the feeling when you first got on stage? Was it like anything you ever felt before? Like, wow. Like,
yeah, I feel like, I tell everybody, I was born June 28th, 1975. But it wasn't until I stepped on stage January 23rd, 2005. That is when I came alive. Like,
wow.
Because it just, in fact, I don't have a lot of even memories of before I stepped on, like, my homegirls would be like, girl, remember that time we went out? And the thing is, if it's tragic and we almost died, I remember clearly, you know what I'm saying? But if it's like, it was a regular old party night, child, that went right on the way with the rest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I did what? Oh, who was that? Like, I'm re-meeting myself from, from that time, because I don't know,
Right. That's amazing. So after that, you're like, so for me, I always say like this, like, okay, you start. Now, how do you keep going? Like, do you just start booking yourself, or do you meet up with someone that just kind of gets you going, or
what
does that look like? Well, okay.
All of it. Yeah. Like, you book yourself,
That's
you
good.
begin as a younger person, and you start showing up to places that book you,
Okay.
And then you start meeting people that see your set, and then they book you. And then you start going for bigger places, and then you start hanging out at those places, and then you get to know the bookers there. And then now if anybody's listening to this, I'm saying it because I'm summing it up, but just insert in there a whole lot of rejection in the process. You know what I'm saying? Because people are just not like, come right on in. Did you, excuse me, I noticed you at the bar looking nervous. Did you want to go on at prime time? You know what I'm saying? They're just like, open mic, darling, and maybe I'll think about it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's a process, and you need it. You need the process, because it's preparing you for the bigger, opportunities where you also face rejection. In entertainment, you face a lot of waiting time, the waiting period. So the not really no, but not right now. And as you grow older, spiritually grow as well, then you realize it's not a no, it's a not right now,
right.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So did you have like any like, obviously I guess work, like I hear comedians, and I'm gonna get it also to acting and all that else that you do, because you got so much you do, but
So much.
with that, with that, did you write your like what inspired you to write certain materials to like do stand, like, okay, today I'm going to talk about this, or just what's happening in the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm always inspired by the day. Now I have things that I want to say, but I will get inspired like and you know, the downside of getting inspired by by what's happening right now is it could go very sour, because it just went very sour at this other show. Like, you know, I went on, God, you know, and the thing is, I walk out the room hating those people every time. And then I'd be like, I need to go back there and I need to make sure, because you're really not, you only bomb when you disconnect. You know, as long as you're connected as a human, then, you know, they understand it. But I do feel like, you know, specifically out in California, everybody is just like so politically correct. They're superficial.
Right.
And, you know, and it's just not real, because you can go to Missouri, you know what I'm saying? You see the same people over in Missouri and you will see exactly how everybody feels. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, I try to let what's on my mind right then and there inspire me. And, you know, sometimes what's on my mind is not popular, you know? And, but the thing about it too is, you know, you go through this cross of this, you know, you're torn, because I do want to make the crowd laugh. You want to make the crowd laugh every time. And then, you know, I left this same spot, like, I just need some hunky dory material for these, you know. But the thing about it too is, we don't let the audience dictate what's on our mind and what the Lord tells me to deliver. The Lord tells me to deliver this certain material, and it may not be popular. You know what I'm saying? So it's figuring out, how do I get this message still across? Even if it's an uncomfortable message, how do I connect to these people, then deliver the message? Because, you know, it's a disconnect now, you know, and you're battling with all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're battling with other people's insecurities. You know, you're battling with your, you know, the number one thing you're battling with when it's not going right, though, as a stand-up, is you judge them or you've judged yourself. Like, because that's what the reflection is. Like, if I start judging them, they start judging me, and then I start judging myself, which as when I'm at home, I'm not judging myself, which is why I think everything is funny. You know what I'm saying? Because I know where I'm coming from. So, you know, yeah.
I love that. No, you're right. Absolutely right. Because, it's like, you're right. You are in a place. California is like a place that's very politically correct. So, but that's the process of, I think that's what you said, being a comedian and having your own voice and sticking to that no matter what, really. This is what Dave Chappelle's doing, and which I love, that you can talk about real stuff, but make it funny.
Yeah. And sometimes when you build in that material, it do not be funny to some people. You know what I mean? Like, it just is, you know, because let me just tell you what happened to me the other night at this room. So the guy is up, the girl talks about, you know, now, first of all, this girl, I didn't even know she was a real woman until that show. You know what I'm saying? She has one of those, like, I look like a man, you know, and I was a man in another life type of, you know, bodies, you know,
that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And the thing is, and she acts very flamboyant. So I just was assuming this was some kind of other, you know, thing but she was cool. So I was never judging her. And never even questioned her. So anyway, so, you know, she mentions the this being a drag king, you know, how men are drag women. She mentions being a drag, men are drag queens. She mentions being a drag king, you know, which is, she pretends to be a man for a show or whatever. Girl, I don't know. Let me tell you something. That's another thing in California. You'd be like, what? They got whole places set up to do what? You know what I mean? So
right.
So anyway, so since we were on the topic of, you know, men, you know, transgender-ish kind of men. It reminded me of, girl, one time we went to this club. Now, me and my best friend, who my best friend is way funnier than me. Okay. And I'm talking about this girl is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So we go to this strip club. And the strip club is for women who dance for men. So, you know, we just vibing out at the bar, you know, just it's the environment we're sitting in. You know, we're young. I think we in our 20s. Yeah, we have to be in our 20s because I'm not doing stand-up at the side, girl. We in our 20s, girl. And I'm talking about we're in our weed smoking 20s. Let me just say that. Okay. So, you know, all the girls are coming out enticing. And of course, you know, we getting our judgment on. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do, you know?
Right.
And then this full-fledged man comes out there. Okay. And you know, and this is like a strip club for like women who dance for men. You know what I'm saying? So like a man on a pole. And I'm looking like, what saying ye? What is going on? Like, what happened? So girl, we get up close on, and it's like a man who is transitioning at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So now, guys, okay, if you can do whatever you need to do, but I need you to stay, you know, I need you to stay incubated until you look like a woman if you're gonna come dance as a woman for the men. This is basically a man with a wig on. And I'm talking about, girl, this man got like a size 13 and a half foot in
wow.
So the shoes he is wearing is like these grandma shoes, like imagine if your grandma was playing basketball in heels and she had a size 13 foot. Girl, he had that clunky heel, girl, with these old timey, girl. It looked like somebody they put like a heel on some Jesus sandals, girl. It was just insane. Okay, now mind you, he got like straight man chest, hair on chest, but like he wearing like some fleecy thing. But girl, let me tell you something, he can't wait to squat down.
Oh yeah, he's ready.
He has a brand new vagina, girl. And I'm talking about me and my best friend, girl. And I think Meosha, we might have dropped something else that night that had us real giggly, and we pointed and laughed.
Oh my
and
God.
Girl, we hollered. Now, mind you, it's only us two and like one or two scraggly men in the club. It's a slow night. You know what I'm saying? So girl, we hollered and we laughed and we pointed, and that man got so uncomfortable, girl. And all we just see is this man running out that club, girl, with all his stuff packed out of the bag. And I was like, I hope that man is all right. I hope that man didn't go out here and do nothing to himself, because I'm talking about we just because I think you come on now, you can't expect. Like you can live the kind of life you want to live, but don't expect there not to be any actual like reactions. Like everybody want to live in such an incubator. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I was telling that story. So I'm telling them how we pointed and laughed. We was on all these kind of drugs, you know, which I don't do anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Girl, and then he talks about, so then there was a gay guy in the audience, you know, it was one of these real like, you know, kumbaya audiences, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody just left yoga class on their way over here, you know what I'm saying, to meditate on the fake goodness. So anyway, girl, so then the gay guy says at the end, but he was a woman, right? I was like, did you just hear the question you asked? But he was a woman. See, I'm not with, like, the thing about it too is, you know, as a Christian woman who has lived a lesbian lifestyle previously, I just want everybody to know, like, I don't judge people for their lifestyle. You see what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
But if you look hideous, you look hideous. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to judge that all day long. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing is, so, but this other guy also stemmed up for me something that was, you know, the you know, because they was talking about the pronouns, and that just stemmed up, that just, my God, that just put in me a fire that wouldn't quit because of the pronouns, which is separating everybody.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You know, where does it end? Everybody's like, what did you want to be called? Oh, choose between he, she, her, him, it, Dave, Luke, raccoon, snake, and lizard. Like, guys, I think I'm gonna let it start with he, she, him, her, it, Luke, raccoon, and lizard. I'm not like, I have a pronoun that I feel like I think everybody can be called. Just write down your name. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How about I just call you your name? Because
Right.
the thing about it too is the pronoun. See, this is what our people don't understand, how the devil be playing games in people's minds. See, you think you is so accepting of the pronoun,
Right.
okay? But you think you want to be accepting and let's include everybody, but you're excluding them immediately when you say what's your pronoun, because the thing about it too is the pronoun takes the focus off of you being a human and puts it on your lifestyle. I don't need to focus on your lifestyle. Let me just call you Mark, Sheba, and you know what I'm saying, Aquila, whatever your name is. Let's just call you that.
Right. Absolutely.
And that way I don't have to worry about your lifestyle, because the only reason I would even need to use a pronoun is if I'm talking about you when you're not in my presence. Because when you're in my presence, I'm not going to be like, hey, she, how are you today? Who is that? Is that her? Hey, hey, Dave, what's going on? Hey, oh, here go him. You know what I'm saying? That's not even the right grammar. So let's just call you your name and put the focus back on being a human and stop falling for the devil's game. You need that bomb. See, all of that happened that night. The guy asking me, it was a he. Now, of course, now how I'm telling you the story, I wasn't delivering it last night because, I wasn't delivering it the same because my confidence was a little, shaken until I started going out to other places delivering it, because that's how it is. You don't have as much confidence in. Then if the crowd look like they don't agree, then you kind of go forward. But then you know what I'm saying? It's a disconnect
with like caution.
With caution.
Yeah.
But the Lord tells me, daughter, you delivering my message, you delivering my word. You don't let the crowd dictate to you what's going to be told. Now you find a way to connect. You stick in some things that are general up in there, but no, you're going to deliver the things that I tell you to deliver. But I'm glad that happened, because see, just me leaving the room with that kind of feeling and that kind of heat has borne all of the things that I really want to say. You know what I'm saying, which is of importance, you know what I'm saying, of how the pronoun is separating us, and how we have all these weak, you know what I'm saying, like, you're talking about but he was a woman, right? Guys, who's not confused about him being if he was a woman, and that man right there with that vagina, he knows for a fact he's a man. When you wake up in the morning, he's not confused. You can't tell me you feel like you're not a man. No, boo-boo. Like, let's bring in this man doctor right here, because I guarantee you gonna tell a doctor what you really are. You understand what I'm saying? When you need help, the doctor gonna look at me and be like, wow, I wasn't even expecting a urethra, because you told me you were a woman. Because you checked man on the form that you needed to fill out to tell a doctor the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's only with the other people that y'all can play that BS with. You at the doctor or the police precinct? No, boo-boo. You exactly what you was born as. And this is not hating on a lifestyle. This is just like, it's like, I don't fall for the devil's games. You're not gonna confuse me out here. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And you're right. It gets to the point where it becomes like, then the lines are so blurred to there are no lines. And then everybody's just on another, like, but then it's like, then it reaches like kind of passive, like a little bit insane. Like you said, cat, raccoon, then isn't that called a little clinically, you're not okay mentally? Clearly I'm not a raccoon, I'm a human.
Exactly.
So we're saying that's okay. So it's like, then we have to put a line between mental illness and you know what I'm saying, because it can, like, the blurs, it can become a very blurry situation.
I know. And see, the thing is, people follow what the world is doing. And because they want to, they're just like, oh, we're doing this now, well, shoot, I need to start doing this now. No. Like, hey, did you get on that ledge to jump off that bridge? Because we're not gonna be doing everything that the world says do. Like, you know what I'm saying? This world is led by diabolicism. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be thinking for yourself, like, okay, now with, like, some people wanted to be included. Like, I'm sure there was some, people who transitioned to be, another gender or whatever. Okay, let's let them tell us their personal friends what they want to
Yeah.
be called in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing that all into the school where now, even when I volunteered to this place one time and they was just like, write your name and your pronoun. I was like, okay, I wind up leaving there early because boo
Yeah.
boo. You can look at all this butt and all these boobs and talk about write your pronoun. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
like y'all have fallen for the sauce, and I'm not. No, I can't even be in that mindset of the environment of every time. You know what I'm saying? I walk around here go to you just drink. Oh, this is what we doing now. Oh, this is what we do. You can't even think for yourself because you just signed up for the Stepford wives and everybody doing the same thing. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gets it. Yeah, you're right. Because you're in that industry, and then trying to, I mean, we're both in industry, right? We're trying to like also just keep level head and stay, because it's so many people around us that are like, you should do this to do, and
Yes.
I think and you shouldn't listen to those voices and what those people say. Just kind of go, like I said, listen to God. God will lead you the right way, and it'll be more fulfilling. I think a lot of people in the industry, what I've noticed and seen for myself is that a lot of people are not really happy as they say they are. Like people just, got all this money, but killing themselves. Like, I mean, well, we've seen so many people like committed suicide.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where it's like, wow, you have all of this.
Yeah. You have everything.
But you're missing.
But you're on pills and you're not guided by, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing about, I feel like a lot of these suicides have come from direct dropping some kind of drug that is telling you, because girl, we have never seen so many like rich, successful people die via suicide in a hotel room. You know what I mean? And I just know it was induced by something. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at all of these commercials, like, are you suffering from so and so? I'm talking about they're selling you the adverse effect to whatever they're saying is going to help you. And who could be talking, girl? I'm talking about, don't have me turn into Malcolm X on you, please, because I will just turn into Malcolm X. I will just do it. Like, I just,
I love it.
Anyway.
No, but this is why I love it, because I love that you are in this industry, in this business, but you're still yourself, and I admire that. A lot of people get in this business and they just change, or you're just like, who are you?
I know.
I know what I mean.
And I see, I'd be torn. I'd be torn. The thing about it too is I have to have the success as myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and that's where I feel like, because I just do feel like, you see a lot of people on TV, a lot of people on TV, but then, you see the kind of comedy and it's just like, okay, all right, that was definitely, a white man definitely wrote that. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
But I do, they are living a great life, like, on show after show after show.
Mm-hmm.
And I desire those same things, but I have to have
your way.
I have to have them actually God's way. I have to have them, because I also say my way actually. And then the Lord constantly reminds me, like, no, because if it was up to me, I would be like, I would, you know what I'm saying? But just when you following the Lord, he'd be like, I have you. And when you look in the Bible, these people definitely gained the fruit and were the most famous and were the most popular, but they had to wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they definitely had to wait a long time. And that's where I feel like, let me just close this up. That's where I, feel like, the challenge always is, you're waiting for your time to get all of the promises that the Lord has made you. And it's gonna, you're definitely gonna have to withstand seeing the, other kind of, genre, other kind of comedy, other kind of voices that you be like, all right, that's what they want. Okay, all right. You know what I mean? But who knows the crown that person had to bear to even get there. You know what I'm saying? The
Ooh,
Lord
right.
is with them too. So,
Yeah.
you just got to stay over here and stay in the humble place and just know that your time is coming,
That's awesome. And you're right. Absolutely right. And so now you're doing comedy. When was that transition to get into acting and all of that? I mean,
Um,
you're an amazing
uh,
actress, by the way.
thank you so much.
Of
Am
course.
I?
Yeah, I think so. I saw you in that commercial. I was like, look at her. Yes.
Thank you so much. I pride myself on being, honest in the camera. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Honest who I am in the camera. But that's always been there too, because my grandparents, they didn't sign me up for stand-up. They signed me up for drama class,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
that's the thing that, I've been, church plays and school plays and play plays and vacation Bible school play, girl, child, you name it. And I have been experienced with it. But, when I got to New York, I started taking, when I moved to New York, because I moved to New York when I was 29.
Nice.
And then I started taking, classes and taking it seriously. But then when I got to LA, it's like you're born again.
Yeah.
You're a baby all over again. And
Mhm.
I've taken classes here because you always have to refresh,
Yep.
your skills. Like you learn one thing. Okay, I learned this one thing. I kept this one little thing.
Yep.
But then you got to constantly, update it. So
was it hard in New York? Because I mean, I can imagine there's so many people doing like this. Well, just like California, but Broadway, stage, it's kind of very popular out there.
Yeah. I had my time with some plays. I haven't
Nice.
played Broadway, but I played the Broadway of Jersey, the
Nice.
symphony in Newark, done a couple, popular plays. And let me just tell you, I've done enough to know that plays is not where I want to go. You know what I'm saying?
That's honest. I love that. That's
I'm talking about, I don't even look, when I see a great casting for theater, I just scroll right on past because I am super duper interested in doing, commercials and film and television. And I think you have to know, what you want, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But New York is no harder than any other town. You have to want it. This
Right.
is a business of you need to want it. You see famous people all the time. And they be like,
Yeah.
I was living on my father's ranch in Wichita, Kansas, and I was auditioning self-tape from there. And then they called me and flew me to LA. So it's a town, it wherever you at, you gotta want it.
Right.
And it wants you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just keep on going for it. Even I used to work with, I'm friends with a friend who is good friends to Tiffany. It seemed like I'm friends with all her friends because I'm cool with Tiffany too. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're not like, we're not like, I wouldn't call it like friends where we talk on the phone, but friends because of we came up together and she was always, she always had something great to say, always something inspirational. In fact, when I booked this talk show, I had asked her to be on when I was hosting it. And she called me to be like, I'm just so proud of you moving to LA. I'm just so, but even one of her good friends was telling me when she had first come out with Girls Trip, she was like, I remember, she was just auditioning back to back 4 years.
Jeez.
And didn't, and wasn't booking anything. And it was just, she was just so frustrated, like wanting to book something. And then I actually ran into one of the writers, well, not the writers, but I met a cousin off of Ancestry. Girl, the world is so small. Yes. I met a cousin off of Ancestry who had just been at my stand-up show 2 weeks before we met in person.
Wow.
This cousin is the best friend of the writer of Girls Trip. And he was telling me that they actually had approached Leslie's management, Leslie's agents, Leslie Jones, to do Girls Trip, to do Tiffany's character in Girls Trip. and they, things didn't work out where they could get Leslie, and Tiffany had auditioned for this other show at BET where they had written also, and they was like, she was good, she was giving up the energy, she was doing her thing, but she just wasn't right for the role. But they remembered
Wow.
her from that audition and chose her for Girl Trip.
That's awesome.
Girl, I'm
Wow.
talking about how you always auditioning. I don't care where you go at. I don't care if you at dinner. I don't care
Yes,
if
very
you
true.
always, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's awesome how like, those the connections just like
Yeah.
those pieces. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So acting, and then you also have a show.
Yeah.
So do you describe it as is it a podcast? But because also it's video, right? Because I see it's you and your friend. You guys have the Up Late TV
Yes.
show.
Up Late with Shire and Dale. So
Okay.
it started as a web series where we
Nice.
went out and we would have our funny opinion on, we kind of do it like a pop-up show,
Okay.
So
Nice.
we would do it at different locations and have our funny opinion on pop topics. And then we would always interview celebrities. That's when we both lived in New York,
Nice.
And then, we needed to give her a chance to have some kids in a family, so we took a break. Okay.
Right.
And I moved out here because I was just like, I got to roll out from, I got to roll to LA, and then we reconnected on IG because now at the time when we were trying to do it remotely in New York, excuse me, the software was not up to date. We was trying to do the same thing that IG was doing, like where you could remote IG live someone. We was trying to do that on Facebook, but it wouldn't like let us in. It wouldn't let us like even screen, and it would be slow. And then IG saw us doing that and they copied that idea. Okay.
Hey, IG, you gotta pay. You gotta pay up. Come on.
IG, I know for a fact y'all done got so many ideas from me. Just listen to my conversation. So anyway, so then when IG had this thing that we could now go live, simultaneously, and other people could join in. So we started the show again. And then 1 year after we started the show, or 9 months after we started the show, they gave us 108 Soul,
Nice.
which is a New York radio station, gave us a slot on 108 Soul. So it's also a radio show. And then we upload those radio shows, the replays of the show onto, Spotify as a podcast, so that people can hear the replay,
Oh, it's so funny. You two are so great. I love it.
Thank you so much.
So good. It's so
Thank
good.
you so much.
I love it. Good. It's like a good dynamic. I always say if you start a podcast, like it has to be a good back and forth with the person that you're working with. Because sometimes it can be like, all right.
I know. And guess what? We have like sometimes we'll record a show and it has that. And I'll be like, hey, are you available late, tonight? We need to do that again. Like, because I always want to keep, like, sometimes we're tired and we're just, we're pushing through. But like, I always, because I do the like Q&A for the show, or not Q&A, but the QC for the show. I always be like, no, we have to make sure that we produce
on it.
the quality, give the quality in the content and the energy, to make sure that the energy is there,
Right. Absolutely. No, it's great. It's great. And congratulations on that slot. That's just a blessing.
Thank you so much.
I mean,
Such
it's like
a blessing.
When I think that's the thing about I'm learning is that when you keep you trust God through the process, but it's like faith is not wait. You hear people say, I'm gonna wait on God. It's like, no, God's like, faith is stepping out. Yeah. Even if you don't know what's happening, and God's going to meet you there where you are, and then make things, so.
Yeah. It's a fine line, faith is, because faith provokes you to step out, you step out, but you do what the Lord is telling you to do. You have to constantly be checking, is this something that I need to do, Lord? I often have to ask, a couple times a week. I'll be like, Lord, what do you want me to do today? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because sometimes that instruction is nothing to do with my work at all. Sometimes like somebody called me for a ride in the morning, I'm gonna be like, now I'm like, absolutely not, but then it won't leave my mind because it's the thing that the Lord called me to tell me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do that one thing and it'll be like, zing, hey, Del, that commercial you did that, you booked it. You know what I'm saying? And it was but it is because of the obedience,
Right.
we get the things that we want because we are being obedient, and when I say we, I mean those of us who follow the Lord,
Right.
and commune and have a relationship with him. But yeah, but it's but then when we do that, when we do the thing he wants us to do, because I'll have a list, my list will be like, all right, now I told you hit this lady up today, and then I'll be like, Lord, she has a difficult personality, but then I'll know that it's from the Lord if it doesn't leave my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
I see.
Sometimes if it leaves my spirit, more than likely I was telling myself to do it. You know what I'm saying? if it can't leave my spirit, if it doesn't go anywhere, I know the Holy Spirit is being like, this is your instruction. Now, once I do those things, then I have to rest. I have to rest and just let him do the rest of it, because we can overwork and the Lord is doing so much of the work. He just wants us to do these 5 things, and then we need to sit down and sometimes I remind myself to sit down, take a break, and do nothing. Like, don't turn on TV, don't look at the phone, don't get on social media, don't turn on anything, to listen to, just sit and let my brain recoup,
Mm-hmm. That's so important and healthy for it in this. That's what that was my problem growing up. Was I was always in a hurry, like I gotta do this, I gotta, and my mom's like, let God be God, and you don't have to help God out. Just chill sometimes, take a break. It's very important. It's healthy, because I did burn myself out, and I got to the point where I was like, I wasn't really, really enjoying the journey because I was overworking myself.
Yeah.
And I don't do that no more.
I know. And I'm relearning it almost every day to not overwork myself.
Yeah.
To do these, because it's a lot of work to do as an entrepreneur anyway.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be checking off things and it'll be like 10:03 p.m. and then I will hear the Holy Spirit say, okay, you done with this list yet? Because this was for the week. You trying to fix it out all today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just chill, check these things off, and it's time to rest, daughter. You cannot work through 1 a.m. It's time to rest,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
that.
But
it's passion too. Sometimes it's hard to pull yourself away, but it's a fine line between passion and anxiety, because sometimes you're working off that anxiety.
That's it. I have a question I like to ask everybody that comes to the show, and everybody gives me different answers, and I love that about it. And I always learn something from this question. It's kind of, I guess, sort of repetitive, but my question to you would be, what advice would you give to somebody that wants to do or be an entrepreneur, be in the industry, act right, whatever? What advice would you give them?
What advice? First of all, y'all heard that deep breath I had to take, that you got to do a lot of those, a lot of deep breaths. But then the advice I would give them is to work on your faith. This entrepreneurship is a business of faith, and you have to strengthen it, because you're going to be doing work, but your blessings do not come by work. They come by faith. That faith is going to prompt you to work, but know that your blessings come by that faith. And that faith, you know, is that faith is how we get favor, you know, because the Lord gives us favor when we have a relationship with him, you know, through his son, Jesus Christ, by the way, because, you know, I got to always spell that out. And, but, you know, so, you know, accepting Christ, that gives us favor, but then you have to work on your faith. And that faith is how you activate that favor, and you know, then you'll do the work. Once you work on your faith, it'll prompt you to do the work, you know.
Absolutely. I love that. That's good. That's good. What are you working on right now, busy woman?
Oh my word. I'm still working on that faith, y'all. That same faith I just told you about. I'm in faith school every day. Like I've never, you know, now I'm getting my second PhD in it, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a song coming out at the end of the month called Never Give Up. I cannot wait to release that at the end of the month. It pre-releases on the 21st of February. And it releases on March 1st, the video and the single. And I cannot wait, because it has been such you know, a process, and you know, just can't wait to show the hard work off, you know.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
And I was just thinking of, you know, what a like of his ultimate plan of, you know, who can debut their own song on their own radio show, you know. And
that's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you don't even think about how he is setting it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's setting up the master plan to get you in with, you know, all the other DJs that can play it, you know. I mean, not that I've even discussed it with them. I've never even, you know, I was just thinking about this morning. I was thinking about playing it on my own show, you know, last night, of course, you know, after my girl having my long walk with the Lord. I'm telling you, it's faith school. You know what I mean?
Process.
Yes,
absolutely.
such a process. So, but anyway, I was thinking about as a stand-up, how I've been working in the radio business for so long. And then I was also thinking about how I have 2 other songs that I have pitched to so many people, and how it wasn't in their genre. And they told me,
wow.
Listen, make sure you come back when you have something in my genre. I would love to hear it, you know. So you have all those contacts, you know, and how you gotta, you know, you gotta spring forth and just go.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people find your social media, you on social media, and like follow you and all that good stuff?
Y'all follow me on y'all follow me on IG. That's the main thing too, because you know, I am Del Harrison. Write that down. Get your phone out and put in I am Del, DEL 1L Harrison. That's also my website, iamdelharrison.com. Follow me on IG, because I post everything, what I'm doing, shows, live shows. I post it all on IG. And you know, and yeah, you know, follow me on those platforms too. Spotify, iTunes, you know, find me on there, because I got a comedy album and I got 2 music singles already on there. So, you know, you find me on those platforms and give me a follow on there too, on Spotify and on iTunes.
Yes, everybody, follow. She's amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being on and talking to me.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's always, I feel like I go to like church every time I talk to you, which is great. You lift my spirits.
Thank you so much. You know, I feel like they say when 2 or 3, well, not they, because I can't stand they. Anyway, the Bible says when 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, you know.
That's it.
He is there.
That's it. You're
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. All right. Bye, everybody.